Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! This has really been a dream come true for me to talk about Descendants and Zombies because I got to meet all of you. I feel like I walked through the forest of Oregon, I attended Oregon Prep, and I have never wanted to leave since. While Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and others left the Descendants franchise behind in their past, you guys will always have me, and that's a promise from my heart to yours because I love creating Descendants and Zombies videos for you. Even if we have to wait up to 4 years for Zombies 5 and another year for Descendants 5 with Wonderland to touch down and touch all of our hearts, I will make a video every day for you about Descendants and Zombies, and that is a promise between you and me. If that's okay with you, I would love to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies for just a little while longer, because 2,000 watch hours later, I have realized that the Descendants and Zombies fans will love you for an eternity, and they will never ever quit on you. You guys have been here from the very first video that was uploaded on this YouTube channel, and thank you so much. I say this because I have been very fortunate in my career, but never this fortunate. I have never had the privilege and the honor of being able to sit in front of a podcast microphone every day of my life and be me. I've always had to be someone that I didn't want to be for a media presentation or whatever I was covering for whatever specific niche. I never ever had the opportunity to be me. But Descendants and Zombies showed me that it was okay to be yourself. And it was okay to encourage people that dreams can happen for them no matter what that dream is. And I truly do mean that. You know, Kylie Control was a huge inspiration of mine. I watched Kylie Control's YouTube channel forever ago in a day. And if I could go back in time and do one thing all over again, it would be to meet Kylie Control, find out everything about her, find out who she was, and get to talk to her. I think if I could go back in time, if I was in possession of a pocket watch, it would be to meet Kylie Control and let her know ever before she cried over her boyfriend last year that everything was going to be okay. Because she is such a huge inspiration to so many people. Why is she worried about breaking somebody's heart or having her heart broken? She should be focusing on you guys, because you guys made her into the star that she is. You guys seek inspiration from Kylie Control and her videos of motivation. And that's how I felt inspired to create this YouTube channel. From the very first moment I laid eyes on the Descendants script, I knew this was going to be something special. Kind of like you girls. How from the very first moment you laid eyes on me, you knew this YouTube channel was going to be something special. You knew this was going to be history, and you wanted to be a part of it. And that's the reason why you subscribed. That's why you're here. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody for having seen your hero in me and having made me your voice of Descendants and Zombies. And I know there are critics out there that really hate my guts for talking about Descendants and Zombies and giving it the praise that it's deserved for forever. But I love doing it. I love talking to you about Descendants and Zombies, sharing in my lifetime experiences that relate to Descendants and Zombies. How I was a theater kid in high school, and one night I fell down through the stage. It was one of the most scariest nights of my life when we were putting on Phantom of the Opera. One of the stage lights exploded. There's something about things exploding in my life that I can never make sense of, and I went up on the stage and I fell down through it. I wasn't intending to be the Phantom of the Opera because someone else had originally been casted to be Phantom of the Opera, but somehow, some way, I ended up being Phantom of the Opera that night, and an ambulance ride later, I went home to watch the latest episode of Liv and Maddie, because that would have been all the way back in 2013. And I remember how, popular shows like Liv and Maddie were, and it was really, the beginning of phenomenal times for people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson who really realized their potential from the Descendants franchise, because they had no backstory for their characters. Mal and Evie, of course, representing the daughters of Maleficent and the Evil Queen, who really had no backstory whatsoever. All we knew about Maleficent was that she was an evil fairy. And I remember the promo where Dove Cameron discussed her character Mal and how proud and how honored she felt to be Maleficent's daughter, but she had no backstory, and how she had to create a story through different character traits. And that's something that Dove Cameron really had a knack for doing, because a lot of people would not be able to bring character traits to life and bring a story to life for a character that had no backstory whatsoever. And of course, Sophia Carson, who had her first major role in a movie be done because of donning the character Evie in this movie, learned from Dove Cameron's experience, because Dove Cameron, all the way back to Liv and Maddie days, knew how to separate characters by specific character traits, and that's what made Mal one of the most successful and one of the most revered, if I can get away with saying that. I think that's okay, Descendants characters of all time. Her relationship with Ben was sometimes on the rocks from chapter to chapter of Descendants, but they found their light. And that's why I believe that Kylie Control, years later, after having the torch passed to her, will indeed find her light, because I'm going to help Kylie Control find her light and make sense of her own life. That's why I'm here. Because I'm tired of seeing Kylie Control cry when she doesn't need to cry. She needs to know there are supportive guys out there for her who love her and love her representation of the character Red. because I truly do. I think there is so much passion with this Red character. It's so fiery, it's so exuberant, it's so full of life, and Ruby Rose Turner is just a genuinely kind person who I love dearly. I'm going to miss Ruby being a part of Descendants 5. If you are new here on this YouTube channel, I have the biggest crush in the world on Ruby Rose Turner. You can refer to Liamani Segura's character Pink as a mini Bridget all you want, but I think that Bridget is a character that is beyond kind and has inspired me to be a better person in my own life. Because many times throughout my legendary career, I have been very difficult to deal with because I didn't want to be somebody I didn't want to be on the radio or on YouTube. I just wanted to be myself for each and every one of you. And that's where my conflict and my controversy lied, was because I wanted to be someone that was so kind and so genuine, and I saw that through Ruby Rose Turner's portrayal of the character Bridget, which was the exemplification of how much of a profound impact that bullying can have on a person. Sophia Carson had to transfer high schools at one point in her life because she couldn't take the bullying anymore. It's a profound impact that somebody goes through when they're suffering from this kind of thing every day. They feel judged, they feel backed into proverbial corners, and I'm here to tell you guys that nobody has the right on YouTube to judge you for being a Descendants and Zombies fan. If they're going to judge you for being a Descendants and Zombies fan, then they're going to have a problem with me, and they're going to have to deal with me, because I know Descendants and Zombies has its haters out there, it has its critics, and I don't want to be one of them. I want to be here for you, because I know how much these franchises and these stars, Kylie Contrell, Dove Cameron, whoever you see yourself through the eyes of, I know how much it means to, think of these characters as highly as what you do, and I know what it's like to be in your position. I know what it's like to be excited about the newest Descendants chapter, the newest Zombies chapter. And there are a lot of rumors right now suggesting that Zombies 5 isn't going to happen until 2028. Now, I said this earlier this morning, and I will say it again for those of you who didn't catch my first video. I'm cool with that. I will sit on this podcast every night for the rest of my life and talk about Descendants and Zombies if I have to, because nobody else on YouTube is going to do that for you, because I know how much Zombies means to you. I know how cool it must seem that a girl can fall in love with a zombie and stay in love with a zombie for forever. If I could do that, I would go out and do that right now. But I don't know any zombies. Although, come to think of it, I've been in a lot of relationship with a girl that I've been with who either seemed to be a vampire or a zombie. I've said that many times on this show because they've never paid any attention to the niches I've attracted on YouTube. I don't even think they've watched any videos that I've uploaded on YouTube. But for every girl I was with in a relationship that may have been a vampire or a zombie or even a werewolf or an alien, I've had each and every one of you who have watched these videos and never failed to hit my subscribe button because you think the guy hosting the show is cool and he knows what's up when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. Because, while I may not rank the scenes the way other people do on YouTube, I really do love specific scenes in Zombies, like the opening dance number from the very first Zombies movie all the way back in February of 2018. I remember catching this premiere, really falling in love with the franchise, and remembering the opening dance number being, "This is going to be my year." Of course, Zed was going to try out for football, Addison was going to be captain of the cheerleading squad, and they realized their dreams because they got scholarships to college for cheerleading. Zed wanted to become a professional football player, and they got to spend the rest of their lives together. And that was the thing that took the spotlight away from everything else in the Zombies franchise, along with the torch being passed from Zed and Addison's characters to Malachi Burton and Freya Sky's characters, Victor and Nova, who I'm really excited for the future of, even though we have to wait 4 years. Now, I know what a lot of girls must be thinking who watch these videos. Hey, Jonathan Clarke, you are the voice of Descendants and Zombies, so you have to make a bunch of Descendants and Zombies videos so Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 will happen quicker for us. We've only got a year from now until Descendants 5 with Wonderland, so we have to make the most of this opportunity, and we have to allow for the time allocated for the release of Descendants 5, because this will give time for PR. You have to take into consideration we need 6 months of PR for this thing. We really need to blow this one out of the water, and I think that we're going to have the opportunity to do it, because if we don't have enough PR, not enough people are going to know about Descendants. And you may be saying to yourself, well, there are 10 million people who love Descendants and Zombies. Sure, there are 10 million people who love Descendants and Zombies, but the more anticipation that we put behind this thing, the more excited we're going to be to watch this. And just think about it like this. This time next year, we could be counting down the hours, the minutes, and literally the seconds to the premiere of Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, where I'm going to be really excited. I'm going to be jumping up and down on the night Descendants 5 premieres, because even though it may only be a 90-minute production, there is so much of a story left to be told between Red and her sister Pink, because there's controversy expected from one of the consequences of time travel, because it's been said many times over the years, one can't expect to mess with the fabric of time and not expect consequences. You didn't think this story was over now, did you? Because it's not. It's not. I say this because it's not. And I don't know how other YouTube creators are telling you that they need to stop making Descendants of Zombies movies, because as long as the story keeps on getting better and we see the introduction of more characters, it offers the opportunity to create new storylines. You know, I came from many industries where storylines were created to ensure the future of a lot of legacies. And the thing is, without a storyline, if you create one storyline, you can create another. And that's the thing that a lot of these podcast hosts don't understand. The concept of time travel being allocated could have to, have a place in a future Descendants movie. Just because time travel is being taken out of Descendants doesn't mean by the time we get to Descendants 6, which will happen, even if it's not until 2028, there could be a meaning for time travel to find its way back into this thing. Who's to say we're not going to go back in time and save Bridget from damnation? Because I would go for that. I myself would write a story about going back in time as Ruby Rose Turner's love interest, as Bridget's love forever and always, and save her from damnation, because she was one of the most powerful Descendants characters of all time. You can write one movie about going back in time and saving Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget to bring her back into the storylines. It's just, Disney can't get past this period of 3 movies. And it's only now with Descendants of Zombies they're getting past that period of producing a trilogy for High School Musical and Hannah Montana, what have you. It really irritated me for years how Disney couldn't get past a trilogy or 4 seasons of a TV show like Wizards of Waverly Place. And I'm really happy now they are realizing how much these franchises actually mean to people. And I wish there were more hosts on YouTube like myself who realized how much these 2 franchises mean to each and every one of you, and just wouldn't shut the door on all your hopes and dreams, because I'm not here to do that for you. I'm here to encourage you that hopes and dreams do exist, and there is a chance out there, even though how far away it may seem for a lot of people, for every single person who ever had a dream. Because that's what Descendants and Zombies has taught us, through the powerful music like Legends in the Making, the opening dance number of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, just before the camping trip went to hell in a handbasket and the car turned over. Come to think of it, I would have loved to have been in that scene. And I would have loved to have been the one driving the car and told Zed and Addison, can we please get our mind off cheerleading and football, because we have to get ourselves out of this crazy situation, and obviously I'm the only one going to do it. I've always wanted to be in these action scenes for zombies. So if you hit the subscribe button, Jonathan Clarke will get to realize his biggest dream and greatest dream of all, falling in love with a mermaid, because I'll finally get to go on a mermaid excursion. So long story short, I've got this friend from New York, and he comes to visit me every couple of days, and he's been keeping me up to date on this alien probe, apparently on the Earth to kill us all, in the next 109 days, and apart from that, he's also been encouraging me to go on a mermaid excursion. So I've never been on a mermaid excursion. I've gone whale watching, and I've had whales come up and almost knock the boat over, but I have never ever seen a vortex, or I've never ever been on a mermaid excursion. So if you girls would hit the subscribe button, you would give me the opportunity to realize a lot of my long lost dreams, and one of them being to go on a mermaid excursion, find a mermaid and fall in love with her. I don't know, for all I know there's a mermaid watching this video who's going to hit the subscribe button. I really don't know. But I do love mermaids so much, and I'm not going to lie to you about that. I've read so many stories over the years about mermaids, and I think that mermaids are just incredibly beautiful and incredibly talented. And I think that mermaids, and I know my house is haunted, there's a lot of banging that goes on in the background here. I've been seriously thinking about calling an exorcist, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. I just moved into this house over a year ago, and you haven't lived until you live near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could explode, and have a friend from New York that keeps you up to date on an alien probe on the way to Earth to kill us all, and encourages you to go on a mermaid excursion, which I have yet to do. And I know that a vortex spells doom for us all, but I am really excited to find out what is inside of that vortex. And if we soon don't find out and learn more about what's inside of that vortex, I give you my word that I will jump inside of that vortex and find out what's inside of it. Because the vortex is exactly something that Jonathan Clarke would have in his mind for forever and love to bring to life for the Zombies franchise. I, for one, have loved to want to be a producer and a writer for the Descendants and Zombies franchise, because we still have a long way to go with these franchises. There's so many supernatural characters for zombies, so many fairy tale characters and worlds to be discovered in Descendants. For example, at the end of the original Descendants trilogy, it was put out there that Jay, Carlos, Evie, Mal were on their way to distant lands to spread the message of Oridon. That's a prologue in its own right. That's a movie in its own right. Why not take advantage of those opportunities? I just suggested a movie about going back in time to save Ruby Rose Turner. Again, reintroducing her character or repackaging her character. It's called character development, for those of you who have never studied theater before. I'm saying this because there is a certain way to present something like a trilogy or something that's so, unbelievable to so many people. You don't necessarily have to close the door on certain characters. Now, if they want to part ways with the franchise and pursue other venues and other projects, then so be it, because that's what they choose to do, and perhaps Ruby choose to go other ways in her life in another direction. But you don't have to close the door on certain characters. If anything, we could be setting up for a passing of the torch moment in its own right for Descendants, where Pink becomes the lead character, and then we hear about Pink's story for the next 6 or 7 years. I really don't want to see a point or have this get to a point where it ends, because there's still so much of a story to be told, and there's more encouragement to be thrown the way of you, the Descendants and Zombies fans. You don't deserve to have your hopes and dreams put out. The fire does not deserve to be extinguished just yet, because the fire needs to spread. And what I mean by that is more people need to fall in love with the Descendants and Zombies franchise, because there is a greater appreciation out there than all of us ever know about Descendants and Zombies. I just wish more people would see it the same way that I do, in the same light, and show it the same amount of respect that it deserves, because we are seeing anything but that on YouTube. I mean, our variety of videos on YouTube about Descendants and Zombies isn't the greatest, so I just wanted to alleviate the pressure off the shoulders of the girl searching up Descendants and Zombies videos every day of her life, and give her something special, something that she can believe in. So she'll join the soccer team, so she'll join the volleyball team. I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to believe that hopes and dreams can exist for whoever it is out there that wants to have a hope and a dream become a reality for everybody. I've never ever wanted to take away from anybody. All I've ever wanted to do is state the facts and how I believe about Descendants and Zombies, and I like to believe that I did that, but I couldn't have done this without your guys' help. And the statistics on this YouTube channel really puts into perspective just how far this YouTube channel has come in such a short amount of time. It's really hard to believe that I've been talking about Descendants and Zombies for up to 16 minutes already, because I have 2,000 watch hours put up on this YouTube channel, and I have 3,000 subscribers just about put up on this YouTube channel. Now, I will admit to each and every one of you, this YouTube channel still has a long way to go. This journey is far from over. And I mean it. If I had to sit on this podcast every day for the rest of my life and talk about Descendants and Zombies, I have no issues with doing that, because you guys have deserved to hear the best for far long enough now. Do I think that Freya Sky and Malachi Burton can get the job done with Zombies? Sure I do, because the duets that they performed at the Worlds Collide Tour that were originally written for Zed and Addison's characters, such as Someday, beautiful. I'd go for a remix of it by Zombies 5, because there are going to be remixes to several songs of Zombies 5, for those of you who don't know. I don't want to buy into the idea of a 4-year release window for Zombies as late as 2028, because you guys deserve an earlier release window. And I'm not saying put the movie out next year, because if you put the movie out next year, there's going to be a lot of controversial reviews posted less than 24 hours after that. You have to allocate time, because time is our most precious commodity. And I say this because you think about Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires. How long was it before Zombies 4 was created and in the minds of every director of Zombies? It was 4 years. So, 4 years later, what happened is the story got better. There was more time to develop characters and concepts and new storylines and setting up for the passing of the torch, which was a really emotional time for Zombies fans, because I didn't expect the torch to be passed as powerfully as what it did, and it made me wish that we would have seen a moment like this in the Descendants franchise, because, as I said, there is still so much of a story to be told in Descendants, and there could be a story told through the eyes of more powerful characters that could be Pink, no matter how many times she's referred to as a mini Bridget. But I refuse to close the door on the chances and the hopes and the dreams of anybody becoming a reality for Descendants. And what I mean by that is seeing Ruby Rose Turner return, seeing people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson return to reprise the roles, even if it's in the form of a cameo, because I'd go for that. I love the idea of new supernatural creatures settling in Seabrook, and how mermaids now are going to show up from out of nowhere, after it was teased by Mila Manheim, the director of this one, actually months before Zombies 4 actually happened. People were always high on mermaids being a part of Zombies, and I think that the directors and the writers, Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim, are maybe going to finally listen to us and put mermaids into the franchise and give Jonathan Clarke more of an inspiration than he's ever had before to become a member of the Zombies cast to fall in love with a mermaid, which I hope is actually watching this video right now. It is a huge honor of mine to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about Descendants and Zombies for however long it's been, and however long you girls have allowed me to attend Oradon Prep or talk about Zombies and be a citizen of Seabrook. I'm seriously thinking about running for the mayor of Seabrook. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, don't you realize that Seabrook is just a fictional place for the purpose of the Zombies franchise? I know. But I believed in it so much that I moved into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant. And what are you going to do, criticize me for that, critics? Because I know I have a lot of critics out there. But if one is going to talk about Descendants and Zombies for each and every one of you. He not only has to talk about Descendants and Zombies, he has to live his life out like Descendants and Zombies. And through the power of this YouTube channel, I've been able to do that. And I've been able to convey a very powerful message of kindness and really just put out there how far kindness can go. Because kindness really still has a long way to go in this world, because there's never enough kind people and or kindness seen in this world or exemplified. And I like to believe through the power of this YouTube channel, I have been able to do just that, even if it is 4 videos every day that's uploaded. So I will be back later on tonight to talk about either Descendants or Zombies again for you just before the sun sets, and one final time again tonight, at least up to 3 or 4 videos yet to come on this YouTube channel, and that will be for every day for the rest of my life. Because I showed up here last year, and I promised you that there would be at least 4 videos uploaded on this YouTube channel, and I like to believe that I've fallen through with that promise. As out there and how crazy that promise seemed to have been last year, there had been a video uploaded every day on this YouTube channel about Descendants and Zombies. As crazy and as funny as some of those videos have been, it's really been an honor of mine to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have critiqued Descendants and Zombies the way it's been meant to be critiqued, because a lot of people out there just can't do that. If they're talking about Descendants and Zombies, they are talking about it in a light that I don't think it deserves to be in. If the spotlight is going to be on your favorite Descendants and Zombies stars, be it Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, Dove Cameron, whoever, for whatever reason, it needs to be in a positive spotlight, because I've just wanted to take away that pressure that these stars have been faced with for far long enough, and their fair share of criticism, because they have been hurt by this criticism. And if they tell you that they're not hurt by this criticism, and they put on their best foot forward, if you would, I think they're lying. Because, of course, it's all about a positive image for Disney, about how dreams can happen for somebody, and I get that. But if they can tell you that a dream can happen for them, why can't that same dream happen for them? That's my whole issue with this. If they're telling us that dreams can happen for us, why can't we offer them the same amount of encouragement? And that's why I will forever and always be here, to encourage people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner that dreams can and will happen for them. Not everybody on YouTube is saying bad things about them, like this guy. If you take a chance on Jonathan Clarke, he will never let you down. He will always be here to talk about Descendants and Zombies in the same light and give it the same respect that they've been showing us for forever. In light of all their criticism, they always show up, and they always let us know that everything is going to be okay. So why can't somebody let them know that everything is going to be okay? Because it is. I say this because it is. I mean, we could sit on our podcast every day of our life and watch this as the audience and say nothing but bad things and give people like Kylie Cantrell bad reviews, but I don't see the point of that, because they deserve to have revered reviews, so they know that people out there actually do appreciate them, and their value is recognized and put on display for the entire world to see, because that's what they deserve. They don't deserve to see criticism when, criticism really has no place in the conversation, and things like Kylie Cantrell's political point of view and her relationship is reviewed time and time again, and her friendship with Malia Baker is blown completely out of proportion and out of the water. I mean, people have said some of the most ridiculous things and started up some of the most ridiculous rumors about Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, when I, for one, support that, because I think a friendship between 2 girls is absolutely beautiful. It is incredibly stunning how beautiful a friendship between 2 girls can be on times, and I've been incredibly supportive of that, and I will forever remain supportive of that, because never enough of this is seen in the world, because I am a firm believer that if you have one girlfriend that you are friends with for forever and you support till the end of time, then you have a gift, and you have an honor. To be in the presence of somebody who cares about you just as much as you care about them is really an honor, a prestigious honor that is... It really is a prestigious honor to be in your company and to talk about Descendants of Zombies in the way it was meant to be talked about for what feels like forever. It's been a long time coming, and you guys have waited long enough now to hear nothing but the best about Descendants of Zombies. And I feel incredibly honored to be able to sit in front of this podcast microphone and talk about Descendants of Zombies in the way it's been meant to be talked about for a very long time. So if you could do me the honor of allowing me to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies to help you make 2 of these 2 franchises for just a little while longer, it would be an honor of mine to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies, to be your voice of common sense and reason about Descendants of Zombies, if anything, because a lot of people are just not giving you what you want. And that's the best in the way of a review about your favorite stars who have been upset for far long enough now, and I just kind of wanted to take that away from them and take the pressure off of their shoulders, because they are under a lot of pressure from Disney. They don't need to be under a lot of pressure from these critics, and I like to believe that I've made a difference in all of their lives. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for the 2,000 watch hours you guys have given me and put up on this YouTube channel, 3,000 subscribers, and nearly 50,000 views coming up later on this week. Thank you so much for that, because this YouTube channel would not have happened and could not have existed without each and every one of you and your incredible amount of never-dying love and support for the guy who hosts this show and Descendants and Zombies, who has always believed forever and always that a dream can happen for somebody. All you've got to do is just put that dream into action, because kindness really does go a long way in this world. I will be back just before sunset this evening with another great video, which I hope you will join me for. Until then, keep kindness in your heart as I will keep you in mine, and we will talk about Descendants and Zombies later on this evening. Until then, bye YouTube, be kind to one another.